She discovered her simple act of kindness helped an innocent girl, unexpectedly revealed as the most talented artist this town had ever seen. Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the slightest misstep would bring her world crashing down. A nurturing high school teacher at 32, she poured everything into her students, yet the heaviness of her unfulfilled dreams weighed down her spirit. The late nights spent grading assignments and running a tutoring service left her little time for her young daughters, gnawing at her insides like a slow poison. The mounting student debt taunted her, a constant reminder that her sacrifices might never pay off. Today was different, though. After class, the schoolyard echoed with silence save for the rustling autumn leaves. She found herself drawn to Mia, a quiet girl with deep-set eyes holding a sketchbook. At first, she saw the shadows of poverty in Mia's gaze, the despair of someone constantly fighting an uphill battle. Sarah's heart ached at the sight, stirring the hunger for connection she had buried beneath her responsibilities. What did it mean to be truly free? As she looked closer, curiosity morphed into intrigue. Between the crude lines, raw emotion emanated. Sarah hesitated, caught between starting her car and lingering with this girl who seemed to beckon with unspoken tales. What would it cost her to invest in Mia's talent? Her family's burden flashed before her eyes, and she felt the constriction in her chest tighten. Could she risk her financial stability yet again for the sake of one student? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Weeks bled into months as Sarah's connection with Mia deepened. It felt rewarding, yet suffocating. Each drawing Mia revealed unveiled a story of pain and resilience that mirrored Sarah's own hardships. She applauded Mia's talent, encouraged her to submit to galleries. The dream for empowerment coursed through her veins. But every cheer echoed against the stark walls of reality. Meanwhile, the local elitist art patron dismissed Mia without a bat of an eye, reinforcing the harsh truth of their world. The talent seemed exclusive to privilege. Sarah felt a fire in her chest, the urge to battle against the patron's condescension and uplift Mia. Yet whispers of her financial anxieties simmered beneath the surface, grappling for attention. Anguish rose as Sarah faced a pivotal art showcase, a chance for Mia to shine. Would Mia succumb to self-doubt, crushed under a weight of what-ifs? Sarah's fears of inadequacy clawed at her. When an unexpected revelation about Mia's lineage emerged, a bizarre twist of fate that could shift the narrative, Sarah found herself paralyzed. The slipping grip on her own desires felt like the final lash of a whip. Staring at Mia's determination, Sarah stood at the precipice of a decision: support Mia and potentially risk everything she built, or retreat into the uneasy comfort of her familiar life. The moment felt insurmountable, drawing both women into an intense struggle of identity and hope, leaving a binding tension in the air. What path would Sarah choose? Sarah's heart thudded in her chest as she weighed the weight of her decision. The autumn wind circled around them, an eerie reflection of her turmoil. If she pushed Mia forward, the girl's raw talent could break through the barriers of socioeconomic status. But what of her own security? What if it backfired, and Mia's dream became another stone in Sarah's already heavy backpack of regrets? Visions of her daughters flashed through her mind. The last parent-teacher conference had reinforced her fear. Was she even present in their lives? The relentless pursuit of excellence, whether through her own teaching or Mia's art, gnawed at her conscience. She had always believed that nurturing others wouldn't compromise her life. However, choices had a way of intertwining and coming full circle. As weeks elapsed, Mia grew bolder with each drawing. The girl radiated a hunger for validation that resonated with Sarah's own yearning for recognition. While nurturing Mia's talent, Sarah found herself longing for a time when she too had dared to dream unabashedly. who had crushed those aspirations? The answer hovered near her subconscious. Unfulfilled expectations, disappointments tucked away and locked. An email sat in her inbox, an invitation for a community art exhibition where Mia's work could debut. With trembling hands, Sarah considered her next steps. This gallery represented a chance not only for Mia, but a potential turning point for Sarah herself. However, a sinister thought flared. What if the elitist patron returned to criticize, to undermine Mia yet again? Was it too much to ask for goodness in both their lives? Sarah knew that guarding Mia from judgment was impossible, and still, Mia seemed ready to face it all head-on. The girl's spirit gleamed like a beacon amidst Sarah's own shadows. The teacher's doubts served only to further ignite the fire. Rushing toward a mounting determination, Sarah set her mind towards a plan. She could gather resources, both financial and emotional, to support Mia's exhibition. She thought of local businesses that might sponsor the event, of fundraisers she could hold, of crowds she could rally to bring Mia the attention she deserved. This could be a starting point for both of them, an infusion of hope that might breathe life into the air permeating Sarah's suffocating depths. As she constructed an outline of outreach methods, she also felt a subtle shift within herself, embracing an act that felt bold and defiant against the society that had confined her aspirations. She had spent so much time nurturing others that perhaps it was time she allowed herself to bloom too. The night before the exhibition, Sarah paused over Mia's latest drawing, a powerful image filled with hopeful intricacies. She recognized the emotions crammed into every stroke of the pencil. There was weariness, but also undeniable strength. It mirrored her own journey, one of battling obstacles and yet rising. That realization struck her deeply. Perhaps her own calling was intertwined with Mia's story. The impending confrontation with judgment hung thick in the air, spurring her willingness to act. This was bigger than showcasing art. It was about challenging norms and reclaiming lost dreams. Just as Sarah settled into a sense of purpose, the doorbell rang unexpectedly, interrupting her reverie. With a sense of trepidation, she opened the door to reveal the local art patron, a sinister shadow from the past, standing poised with an inscrutable expression. "Sarah," he said, his tone both syrupy and cold, "we need to talk." The seconds stretched as Sarah stood at the door, her breath hitching in her throat. This was not the reunion she had envisioned. The art patron, with his impeccably tailored suit and piercing gaze, seemed to absorb her apprehension, a smile barely reaching his lips. She wished for the ground to swallow her whole, to escape this uncomfortable encounter. "What do you want?" Sarah asked, her voice steadier than she felt. She felt a mix of indignation and reluctance, a desire to shield both herself and Mia from the man who personified condescension. He stepped inside, uninvited but undeniably present, and closed the door behind him. "I couldn't help but notice you're featuring Mia's work at the exhibition tomorrow. It's bold of you, considering her background." His words dripped with skepticism, an insult cloaked under the guise of concern. "What do you mean by that?" Sarah felt a wave of defensive energy surge within her. The girl's background shouldn't define her talent. Each of Mia's drawings told a story that transcended the harsh realities of their world. In response, she focused all her thoughts on the girl's potential, unwilling to let this man dampen the spirit that had emerged within her. "Let's not pretend this isn't about potential. I've seen what happens to artists from less defined circumstances. They never make it. They're lost in the noise." His tone shifted, sharper now, suggesting an authority that felt suffocating. "I refuse to let fear dictate Mia's future. Talent deserves a platform without prejudice." The words escaped her lips with an intensity she didn't know she possessed. She discovered a depth of conviction, a newfound vigor ignited by his condescending dismissal. He raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite himself. "You're passionate, I'll give you that. But passion doesn't pay the bills or create lasting impressions in the art world. Just remember, I wield influence. A world-class patron can make or break you." The gravity of his meddling intentions seeped into Sarah's bones, threatening to unravel her composure. Did she truly believe that her simple act of kindness towards Mia could shift any narrative against the prevailing societal norms? This wasn't just about an exhibition anymore. It was about empowering both of them against the inherent biases that plagued art. "Great art has the power to provoke change," she replied, though the unease gnawed at her insides. Did she have the resilience to stand firm against the judgments? Was she capable of igniting hope where vulnerability threatened to extinguish it? "Sure, but art's also about survival," he retorted with a feigned innocence. "Choose wisely, Sarah. You must protect yourself as much as you endeavor to protect Mia. Consider your options carefully." After he left, Sarah felt the air shift around her. She sank onto the couch, shaken but resolute. The sensation of desperation began to morph into an ember of rage simmering beneath the surface. She remembered her purpose. Mia's light could not be overshadowed by someone like him. That night, she lay awake, wrestling with her inner turmoil. What if she allowed fear to govern her choices? The thought crushed down on her heart, shifting her resolve. She was not just bearing the burden of her teaching, she was also reclaiming her own narrative. Each day, a brushstroke releasing her pent-up artistic ambition. Tomorrow was the exhibition, a crucible that would test them both. With a flicker of hope igniting in her chest, she realized the stakes extended far beyond Mia's artwork. They reached deep within her soul. Sarah closed her eyes, envisioning the gallery space filled with vibrant colors and people captivated by Mia's work. But just beneath that surface rose the edginess of the man's threats. The moment of truth approached, and she would need to brace herself for whatever awaited her there. Would she crack under pressure or discover a hidden strength to rise above? The dawn broke with a soft golden light filtering through the window, cascading over Sarah as she stirred awake. The anxiety of the exhibition loomed over her, a palpable weight pressing against her chest. Yet beneath that weight, a flicker of determination ignited, propelling her to rise. As she prepared for the day, her hands moved mechanically, but her mind raced through an array of possibilities. Each brushstroke she had envisioned for Mia's work felt like a missed chance to assert not just the girl's talent, but her own. What if the exhibition became more than a platform for Mia? What if it marked a turning point for Sarah herself, a reclamation of her artistic identity, silenced by years of her own self-doubt? She slipped into a tailored dress that felt empowering, a reminder of the artist she once aspired to be. There was something liberating in taking on a role that demanded presence. Bringing Mia's talent into the limelight meant owning her own narrative too. The instinct to protect and uplift propelled her out the door, a force unraveling the thread of fear gripping her heart. As she navigated the streets, the vibrant hustle of the city felt electric. Every face she passed seemed to symbolize the diverse tapestry of experiences that art embodied. The notion that Mia's work could embody a voice for those often muted empowered Sarah, wresting control from the patron's taunts. This exhibition was both an opportunity and a challenge, a chance for validation for herself and for Mia. The gallery loomed ahead, its glass facade reflecting shards of sunlight like an external metaphor for her ambition. As Sarah stepped inside, the scent of fresh paint mingled with anticipation. Each corner, each canvas whispered promises of stories waiting to be discovered. Setting up the exhibition, she meticulously arranged Mia's pieces, feeling a swell of pride each time she stepped back to admire the arrangements. The artwork breathed life into the sterile walls, and Sarah envisioned the conversations that would unfold. It was an intoxicating dream, but the underlying fear bubbled up again. What if the reception was tainted by the very disdain of the patrons she aimed to counter? Just then, her phone buzzed, an incoming message from Mia. "Excited for tonight. You've always believed in me. Thank you." The simple words struck her profoundly. Here was a girl who bore not only talent, but also resilience, a reflection of her own journey. Mia's belief in her echoed Sarah's awakening as an artist, a reminder of why she had fought against the pressures of conformity and judgment. With newfound resolve, Sarah sought out the gallery manager, expressing her desire to give Mia the lead in a presentation speech during the exhibition. Let her voice shine, not just her art, she insisted. The manager raised an eyebrow, but nodded, sensing Sarah's passion pressing against the boundaries the art world had established. As evening approached, guests trickled in, their chatter mixing with the soft notes of an ambient score. Each smile and thoughtful observation about Mia's work sent ripples of energy through the gallery, reaffirming Sarah's resolve. But among the guests loomed the patron, his piercing gaze fixating on her with an intensity that unnerved her. He made his way toward her, a glint of triumph in his eye. "Bold choice, letting her speak," he said with a smirk, "but voices without pedigree fall on deaf ears." Suddenly, Sarah felt the walls closing in. The pressure of the evening, the weight of expectations, blended with the realization that she stood at a crossroads, not just for Mia, but for herself, caught in the unyielding web of societal scrutiny. The moment had arrived. She could crumble or rise. As the chatter turned toward applause for Mia's upcoming speech, Sarah lingered, feeling the crescendo of her thoughts. Would she embrace the fight ahead or shy away into the shadows of suffocation and doubt? The air thickened with anticipation, and amidst the brightness of the gallery, the answer lay waiting. Would this be the night she reclaimed her artistic voice, or would the patron's curse reverberate, stifling both of them? Mia stepped onto the small stage, her figure dwarfed by the vastness of the gallery. The applause washed over her like a wave, a stark reminder of the fervor in the air that night. Sarah watched with a mix of admiration and anxiety, aware that this moment would either elevate Mia to new heights or affirm the patron's disdain. She clenched her fist, heart pounding, fully aware of the burden of her choice. As Mia began her speech, her voice trembled, but in each word there was an honesty that cut through the room. "Art speaks when words fail us," she said, her gaze sweeping over the audience, eyes alight with passion. Sarah felt a rush of warmth, a sentiment that her decision to advocate for Mia was the right one. This was more than an exhibition. It was a statement, a reclamation of voice in a world that often rendered the unheard invisible. But as the words flowed from Mia's lips, the patron's presence suffocated the air. His expression remained unreadable, unsettlingly stoic. What seemed like an unwavering confidence crashed against the walls of Sarah's psyche, sending her spiraling into an internal conflict. Would he allow this moment to flourish or use it as a dagger to further divide their aspirations? In that fragile silence, the gallery morphed into a battleground. Sarah questioned every choice she had made, every risk she had taken. The weight of years spent in favor of others, years of bending to the will of critics and sophisticates, collided with the empowering reality unfolding before her. A vision of her younger self, sketching in the margins of her school notebooks, gripped her spirit. What would that girl think of this moment? That girl had been silenced by doubt, yet here she was, standing behind a voice that demanded to be heard. Mia concluded, the audience erupting into applause, but Sarah felt the tremor of uncertainty still coursing through her veins. She joined in the clapping, her hands meeting the rush of excitement, but also shackled by fear. In that moment, she realized she had been waiting years for permission to bond with her creative instincts, to reclaim her rightful place in the narrative of art and expression. But as the visitors began mingling and sharing their thoughts, the patron approached Mia, a smirk crawling onto his face. Sarah's stomach twisted into knots. She moved closer, in a protective instinct, ready to defend not just Mia, but herself. "Impressive, huh?" the patron mocked lightly, feigning interest. "Art created by a child's hand, filled with a passion that won't sustain in this reality." Before Sarah could intervene, Mia stood tall, firing back a response that echoed with strength. "It's not about age or pedigree, it's about honesty and the power to touch lives." The exchange ignited something in Sarah, a surge of warmth amid the chilling presence of the patron. Watching Mia, she understood that this wasn't merely a fight against one man's contempt, but a movement toward her own freedom. The revelation lashed out against her. Insecurities. She could no longer stay in the shadows. She was an artist, too. "Let's talk about that," Sarah interrupted, coming to sit beside Mia, fully aware of the risk this presented. The patron's smirk faltered, confusion flickering in his eyes. "Let's talk about how art transcends boundaries." In that moment, she claimed the space, the conversation refocusing to represent more than just the girl before them. It reflected her, a reflection of their intertwined stories. The patron's grip on the narrative weakened as he grappled with Sarah's assertiveness. As the dialogue shifted, Sarah grasped that this was a turning point for her. She had moved from fearing confrontation to embracing it. The echoes of support from the crowd fueled her strength, a bridge that connected two individuals who had long been sidelined. Sarah felt the intoxicating urge to take more risks, to explore where her artistic impulses could lead her. But as the conversation blossomed, doubt flickered in the back of her mind. Would the patron let this stand? What repercussions lay on the horizon for her boldness? The night loomed with both tension and potential. The answer wasn't clear, but the direction was unmistakably hers to steer. Sarah had emerged from fear, yet battle lines were being drawn. Only time would reveal if she would shine in her new role as advocate, or if her journey would soon take another daunting twist. Would she solidify her standing, or would the stakes rise higher, forcing her to confront deeper fears? As the crowd buzzed around her, pulling Sarah deeper into a vortex of possibility, the feeling of impending conflict washed over her, and she braced for what lay ahead. As the evening unfolded, Sarah felt the rush of adrenaline thumping through her veins, a sensation both exhilarating and terrifying. She had diverted attention from Mia, but the patron's eyes now blazed with an intensity that threatened to combust. Steeling herself, Sarah turned her focus outward, ready to withstand whatever ultimatum might emerge. Mia, exuberant and animated, spoke with others nearby, her expression alive with hope and validation. Sarah couldn't shake the sense that she had ventured into a new territory of self-assertion, despite the patron's looming threat. This was a defining moment for her. She was no longer just an observer. Questions about her future swirled relentlessly in her mind. Would she always side with the vulnerable, or did a part of her yearn for validation from the likes of the patron? A nagging uncertainty clawed at her resolve, prompting an internal dialogue. Perhaps taking risks wasn't merely impulsive. Perhaps it was essential for growth. Could she chart her path independently of external opinions and expectations? As she stood there, a quiet realization punctuated her thoughts. Supporting Mia was about more than just standing up for a friend. It was about claiming her narrative, a narrative that had long been overshadowed. Glancing back at the patron, Sarah found him still observing, calculating, perhaps considering his next move. Was he clutching on to power, crumbling against the waves of sentiment in the gallery? She needed to confront this opposition, not just for Mia, but also for her own burgeoning identity. "Sarcasm won't enlighten us," she called out gently, her words drawing the attention of nearby guests. "What does art mean to you? To dismiss it so casually speaks more of a fear of vulnerability than an appreciation for it." His smirk faltered again, and Sarah felt a wave of courage swell within her. Drawing inspiration from Mia's fiery spirit, she continued, "Art is a connection to something profound, an honesty that we are often too afraid to confront. It tells the stories we bury deep, the ones that shaped us. Are you really willing to ignore that?" The patron, visibly rattled, shifted his weight. Sarah seized the moment, her confidence flaring like a fire ignited from kindling. Art is a connection to something profound, an honesty that we are often too afraid to confront. It tells the stories we bury deep, the ones that shaped us. Are you really willing to ignore that? The patron, visibly rattled, shifted his weight. Sarah seized the moment, her confidence flaring like a fire ignited from kindling. A smattering of agreement erupted from the crowd, each person engaging in gentle murmurs of contemplation. The walls around her anxiety started crumbling, and for the first time, Sarah felt the reassuring embrace of solidarity. Yet, as she spoke, a lingering worry threaded through her burgeoning voice. What could the patron do if he felt cornered? The stakes were rising, and she could sense the tension thickening the air. Would his pride compel him to strike back harder than before? As if prompted by the whispering doubts threading her mind, the patron defined a sudden distance between himself and the current of rising support. When their eyes locked again, she noticed the perturbation hidden beneath his cultured veneer, a softening, perhaps even a hint of fear. Did he realize she wasn't a simple apprentice anymore? The unsteady moment hung between them, almost electric, when finally he broke the silence. "You're playing a dangerous game," he warned, his tone draped in thinly veiled menace. Sarah's heart raced at the truth of his words, but there was a flicker of adrenaline coursing through her, an inexplicable clarity beckoning her to respond. "All true art has dangers," she volleyed back. "But is it not our duty to explore those dangers? What good is art if it remains in shadows?" Staring into the patron's eyes, she quickly understood. Freedom demanded bravery, and she wouldn't retreat. Fighting for Mia wasn't merely an act of kindness, but a statement of her identity. Could she truly claim both justice for her friend and a new vision for herself? The crackling tension within the gallery now morphed into a palpable challenge. Yet a distant unease nagged at her, gnawing on forgotten fears. If she pressed on, would a response from the patron not only test her strength, but push her deeper into a confrontation she wasn't ready to face? As the dialogue spiraled into an uncharted realm, gripping her both with excitement and dread, she rose to challenge the boundaries that had defined her for far too long. What awaited her on this perilous journey into the unknown? Unbearable curiosity lingered as she prepared for the patron's next move, realization dawning that she had embraced the path of advocacy at a high cost, and the time had come to face the repercussions. Would she rise to the moment or shatter under the weight of newfound expectations? The gallery pulsed with an anticipation that felt almost tangible, wrapping around Sarah like a tight grip. And yet, in the midst of that pressure, she found an unexpected clarity. She had stepped into the arena, both literally and metaphorically, confronting not only the patron, but also the myriad expectations tangled within her own psyche. Was it possible that her actions here might carve a new narrative, one not dictated by others' judgments, but determined by her own convictions? The patron adjusted himself, as if preparing to respond, and the sharp edge of his previous menace hung thick in the air. Sarah fought the instinct to retreat, aware that this moment was critical. She wasn't just supporting Mia anymore, she was forging a newfound sense of self, a self that might see both the risk and the reward in being courageous. "What are you afraid of?" Sarah challenged, her voice unwavering, despite the tremor of her heart. The question hung suspended between them, sparking curiosity, anger, and perhaps a flicker of regret in his eyes. His jaw clenched, and for a moment, Sarah saw a man unmasked. Who was this patron, really? A protector of the art world, or merely an embodiment of insecurity? The thin veneer of his authority seemed to waver. Now she felt emboldened. It occurred to her that by exposing that fear, she was not just peeling back layers of the patron, but unveiling parts of herself as well. Those layers of doubt and uncertainty that had held her hostage for too long. "I'm afraid of nothing," he blurted out, the bravado masking what felt like a deeper insecurity. "You will learn that, in this world, standing up for the weak only leads to your own downfall." In that moment, Sarah made a crucial decision. She could feel the weight of his words pressing down, but at the same time, they ignited something primal within her. Wasn't that the very point of art? To provoke, to inspire, to challenge? She felt herself stepping closer to him, her presence taking up space, claiming authority over the conversation, even as her heart raced. "You have it wrong," Sarah replied, her voice steady. "Standing up for the weak can lead to something greater than oneself, like trust, connection, and a movement toward understanding. It's not a downfall, it's the inception of something profound." A ripple of murmurs spread through the crowd, and Sarah recognized that the audience, comprising patrons, artists, and viewers alike, was hungry for this dialogue. This was no longer just about Mia. It was about reclaiming their own passion, their artistic integrity in the face of superficiality. Yet, the bubbling tension was still boiling beneath the surface. Gazes flickered between Sarah and the patron, whispers traveled, weaving intrigue and uncertainty through the room. Could she withstand this storm? With each beat, she acknowledged that she was straddling a line between advocacy and self-preservation, courage and fear. As the crowd began to lean in closer, captivated and curious, Sarah glanced around. For the first time, she felt not like a mere apprentice lost in the shadows of towering figures, but as a vital part of the narrative unfolding. And isn't that what she had always desired? To matter in the discussion? To have her voice resonate with meaning? The patron took a step back, pressing his lips together, and Sarah thought she saw the changing tide in his demeanor, a shift from unyielding arrogance to forced calculation. The sudden vulnerability in his eyes both frightened and exhilarated her. In that acknowledgement of his weaknesses, he inadvertently unveiled her own, a reminder that bravery did not equate to invulnerability. Amidst the tumult of emotions and the growing momentum, Sarah prepped herself for what was to come. This confrontation mattered. It had implications not just for herself or Mia, but for everyone who had tried to make their mark against the odds. Where would this dialogue lead? Was her advocacy about to set into motion consequences she could scarcely grasp? The amorphous boundaries of art, identity, and power were starting to solidify, and as her mind raced with possibilities, one thought anchored her. She was ready to embrace whatever response followed next. What further secrets would be unveiled about the patron's influence? And would Sarah's newly resurrected confidence propel her deeper into uncharted waters? The murmur of the crowd intensified, every whisper a weight pulling at Sarah's resolve. The patron's masked bravado was faltering, but she could still sense the formidable presence he commanded. This was not just a verbal joust, it was a clash of ideologies, with the potential to redefine her place within the art world, and, indeed, her own understanding of herself. "What do you stand to gain with such a naive perspective?" he shot back, though his tone was laced with uncertainty. Here was the moment Sarah needed to clarify her own motivations, to translate her courage into something actionable. "I stand to gain nothing but the truth. The truth that art should stir something in us, should make us question our comfort zones," she answered, her breath steadied by a fierce sense of purpose. Her gut was aflame with the thrill of standing her ground. For the first time, she feared less about the outcome of the encounter and more about what truth she could uncover, about herself, this man, and the world they traversed. Just as she finished, Mia stepped into the line of sight, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. The girl had been a silent support throughout Sarah's journey, and in this pivotal moment, she represented not just innocence, but everything worth fighting for in the art she cherished. The contrast between Mia's purity and the patron's opulent darkness seemed to fuel Sarah's emerging conviction. With every stroke of a brush, Sarah, the intention ripples outward, touching lives. To ignore that impact in favor of financial convenience is cowardice. The words flowed, each one giving her strength. As the crowd inhaled her passion, there emerged an urge to take it a step further. They needed her to articulate not only what art should stand for, but what it could ignite within the human spirit. The patron recoiled slightly, but then leaned forward, his brows furrowing as he seemed to wrestle with the new narrative she had thrust into his realm. "You're a dreamer. I commend your ambition, but dreams don't pay the bills. They don't protect against the harsh realities of this industry." Doubt flicked across Sarah's mind momentarily. Could she really offer new insights without the crutch of safety that conventional success seemed to promise? No, she had to confront that fear now. The challenge before her wasn't just to dismantle his argument, but to expose the brittle foundation on which he built his empire. "What's more dangerous than dreams?" she mused aloud, holding his gaze. "It's a life shackled by fear, accepting a lesser vision because it feels safe. What if I told you that choosing integrity could build something far richer for everyone involved?" The patron's eyes narrowed, and for a fleeting moment, a flicker of recognition crossed his face. Perhaps he saw a reflection of his younger self, a time of idealism before power had hardened his edges. Suddenly, the gallery's atmosphere shifted, an electrifying charge weaving between Sarah and the spectators. Her words had sparked curiosity, but they had also unleashed an unintentional energy within the patron, nudging the dynamic closer to the precipice of vulnerability. "Do you question your choices?" she pressed, sensing a delicate balance forming around them. In that moment, she realized she had gained a precarious hold over him. Could she push further, excavate the layers of his facade? Murmurs grew louder, the audience leaning in, ready to witness this confrontation. There was a chance to transform this exchange into a profound dialogue, but the stakes were searing high. As Sarah felt the pressure of their collective gaze, an exhilarating rush coursed through her. She no longer felt like someone on the periphery, but a catalyst for change. What they were discovering here, this conversation, was a testament to her own evolution. But the purpose behind her voice began snowballing into something greater. Yet the reality of her own ambitions loomed large. What if the risk of pushing too hard made the patron an impenetrable adversary? She had no guarantee her words would bring about any change, and fanning the flames might very well incite his wrath. The patron's expression hardened once more, clouds of challenge forming anew. "You think this is a dialogue, but the art world was never built on understanding. It thrives on power." Did he see her as a threat, or had she sparked something dormant within him? As her heart pounded, she braced herself for possible retaliation, yet steadied her resolve. No matter the outcome, she was at the tipping point. Would she navigate this precarious edge without compromising the values that had ignited her passion? The crowd's anticipation pressed down on her, a million possibilities swirling. Sarah's heart quickened, each thud resonating with the realization she was deeper into this newfound battlefield than she ever intended to be. In the heightening tension of the moment, Sarah knew she had come too far to retreat, and perhaps, just perhaps, she would unearth not only her strengths, but the dark secrets surrounding this patron. What more lay beneath his sharpened exterior, and what revelations awaited in the escalating conflict? The air thickened with tension as Sarah contemplated the patron's words, their implications wrapping around her like a dense fog. Who was he, really? A mere benefactor or a puppeteer pulling threads behind an elaborate curtain? Every heartbeat drummed a reminder of her stance, fragile yet firm, in this precarious dance. She felt the gravity of the crowd. Their eyes were wide, eager for her next move. But beneath that enthusiasm lurked a current of uncertainty. What if she faltered? What if her next words etched doubt into the minds ready to follow her lead? No, she could not allow fear to dictate her journey. "Art is inherently a challenge," she stated boldly, challenging not only the patron, but her own comfort. It's a mirror reflecting society's truths, fears, and dreams. Avoiding this confrontation is not only cowardly, it's an abdication of responsibility. The words echoed, resonant in the charged atmosphere, as if they charged the very room. The patron's demeanor shifted. The nimble confidence he'd wielded earlier began to unravel. She recognized this moment was pivotal, one where she could either buckle under pressure or showcase her growth through this intense exchange. In the clutches of vulnerability, his eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. Perhaps she was forcing him to confront a version of himself he had long buried. "What if I told you," Sarah continued, her voice steady, "that there is another way? A model that doesn't exploit art for profit, but embraces its genuine essence. One where the creator, the subjects, and the audience, everyone thrives." She deliberately drove her gaze into his, unflinching. The crowd collectively inhaled, intoxicating her with a heady rush of adrenaline. Every word was becoming a reflection of her transformation. She could sense herself morphing deeper into an advocate for genuine artistic integrity. Yet the reality of his influence loomed over them both, like a heavy cloud ready to unleash a storm. "Change demands sacrifice," the patron retorted, but his voice wavered, revealing cracks in his facade. "Should sacrifice entail ignoring one's moral compass?" she countered, her heart racing. "Isn't integrity worth more than any fleeting monetary gain? Artists should dare to paint beyond the lines we've drawn for them." The honed edges of the patron's face softened momentarily, revealing a flicker of a man who might have dared dream a different life once. Before, the weight of power and finance crushed his spirit. But was this awakening too late? For him or for her? Sarah sensed she was walking a tightrope. Every elaboration could either inspire change or provoke wrath. She doubled down, her vision focused. Who was really? An artist who had grown tired of complacency? A voice that had chosen to echo through the clamoring silence of an industry that thrived on suppression. But in that moment of profound self-realization, she also glanced around at the audience. Faces rife with hope turned to confused anticipation. They were as eager for a reckoning as she was. Then she remembered Mia's innocent spark of encouragement, a reminder of what she was fighting for. Art can uplift, but it can also provoke. It disturbs the comfort of the satisfied. It ignites revolutions, she declared, scanning the faces before her. "This is not a fight against you," she said to the patron, "but an invitation for you to awaken, to redefine what power could mean in this realm." The power dynamic shifted, once again, palpable, like a magnetic field charged with energy, pushing and pulling in unexpected directions. The tension soared as Sarah's resolve crystallized, forging her path not just as an artist, but as a force within a stagnant industry painted in shades of gray. "Are you willing to risk comfort for legacy?" she challenged him. Her words hung heavy, their weight striking an unseen chord. In the silence that ensued, they felt the pivot of possibilities. What lay on the other side of revelation? She waited, heart racing, as the patron's features rolled into tempestuous contemplation. This was a tenuous edge, and the next moment could send them spiraling or soaring. In that instant, the stakes felt higher than any canvas could bear, and she wondered, was he ready to join her in this dance of truth, or would he fight to remain shackled by power? As they stood, eye to eye, the stakes had shifted drastically, and Sarah braced herself for the unfolding blowback. Each second dragged as she realized she was teetering at the brink of a profound consequence, one that could very well redefine not only her future, but their shared creative dialogue. An ultimatum loomed in the air, daring both to step forward or back. She held her breath, poised to welcome whatever would come next. Would they collide, or would they conspire to create something beyond mere commerce and resistance? In that tenuous balance, new horizons awaited their discovery. As Sarah stood toe-to-toe with the patron, the struggle for power gave way to an unexpected revelation. Instead of remaining stiff with disdain, he faltered, a moment of hesitation wide enough for Sarah to see into the confusion swirling in his mind. "I grew up in a world where art was a calculation," he admitted, a trace of vulnerability slipping through his guarded facade. Every critique, every rejection was a reminder that survival hinged on being liked, on assimilating. A beacon of understanding blossomed between them. His admission resonated with Sarah's own childhood dreams, carelessly shelved due to the weight of societal expectations. A bridge formed, enabling her to connect those feelings of fear and ambition. If we continue to accept this world as it is, our narratives will become as lifeless as the canvases without color, Sarah replied, her voice firm but softening to match the emerging spirit of collaboration. But if we believe in nurturing real talent, giving marginalized voices a platform, we elevate the entire industry. Don't you see? Opportunity lies therein. The patrons and audience watched, astonishment rippling through them. Her surge of passion had enveloped the room, turning it from a battleground into a fertile ground for conversations yet to take root. "I want to believe," he murmured, casting a glance toward Mia, who stood nearby, her eyes wide with hope and anticipation. The girl had transformed from an underrepresented artist into a symbol of potential and courage, all fueled by Sarah's unwavering advocacy. Mia was more than a student. She had sparked a revolution within Sarah herself. "This isn't just about art, nor merely about Mia," Sarah asserted, emboldened by the burgeoning connection. "It's about each of us daring to challenge the constraints we accept as the norm. It's about dismantling barriers and acknowledging fear. It's a lesson for both artist and patron." As the patron processed her words, Sarah drew closer to her own journey. The early mornings, the late nights, the juggling of her passion with the demands of motherhood and teaching, the sacrifices bound more tightly around her creativity than any of her fears. Unraveling those bindings became an experience of liberation, one she intended to share. "Perhaps your perception of the weak has clouded your vision, limiting the very art you cherish," she suggested, her gaze unwavering. "Have we not both lost something in this transactional dance? Look around. There lies a community yearning for an authentic connection. Would you not want to be part of that awakening?" Murmurs of agreement floated through the gallery, infectious like an undercurrent of energy. The patron seemed to wrestle with an explosion of conflicting emotions, and in that moment, he looked not like a tyrant, but a fellow traveler on an unfamiliar path. After what felt like ages, the patron exhaled deeply, tension slowly melting from his frame. "Perhaps it starts with me," he conceded. "Perhaps it's time I wield my influence to uplift the voices we've overlooked." With that, the room erupted into applause. Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over her like the first spring rain, cleansing months of anxiety and frustration. She had uncovered her own ability to catalyze change, not only for Mia, but also within herself. As the exhibition progressed and conversations blossomed, she could feel the steadiness of newfound authority in her voice. They discussed bold ideas, ways to push against the prevailing narrative that art must serve a singular purpose, to offer safety and stability. In the midst of it all, a realization settled within her. The earlier sense of loss began to transform into an all-consuming pride. She was not just the nurturing teacher or the responsible mother. She was a force to be reckoned with, an artist stepping into her own right. Weeks passed, and with the exhibition's success, Mia's artwork began to gain wider recognition. Art patronages opened within the community, and Sarah's initiative to promote less privileged artists gave voice to an untold narrative. As the echoes of breaking barriers spread through her town, the tremors of impact sloshed against the confines of narrow-minded expectation. In the aftermath of the display, Sarah's own artwork found acceptance as she showcased at local hubs beside Mia. Each brushstroke felt like reclaiming parts of herself long buried, while illuminating the significance of collaboration over individualistic ambition. The gratifying recognition from peers and the community felt surreal. They applauded not just for the art, but for the stories interwoven within, rich with understanding and resilience. The evening of her first solo art show felt like both a beginning and an end. She stared at her own paintings, a celebration of her journey marked by growth, confidence, and a steadfast commitment to advocacy over apathy. Sarah's journey had solidified into a blossoming identity, accompanied by profound connections. As she took a deep breath, she reflected on how the essence of her being transformed through this experience. The fear had become courage. Isolation had morphed into community. Dreams long pushed aside found their rightful place. As she stood there, imbued with a sense of fulfillment, she knew this moment marked something beyond a professional triumph. It was the rekindling of her spirit, the embodiment of the very convictions she championed. No longer trapped within a narrow role, Sarah had cultivated a garden of possibility, a turning point for her career, her family, and a community where dreams could attract light instead of shadow. Now, the world was alive with spirit and opportunity, thanks to the continued support and recognition of artists like Mia and people like the patron who dared to evolve. This was more than closure. It was the dawn of an uncharted course, a journey she was now ready to embrace. And you need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about this ending. We always want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. You are part of this inspiring community, and your support matters. Now, the world was alive with spirit and opportunity, thanks to the continued support and recognition of artists like Mia and people like the patron who dared to evolve. This was more than closure. It was the dawn of an uncharted course, a journey she was now ready to embrace. And you need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support truly makes a difference. Comment your reactions and theories about this ending. We always want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. You are part of this inspiring community, and your support matters.